Clark and Peshkin, your divorce and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. And the Buffalo Bills defeat the Miami Dolphins. 32-29 is your final score, and this game came down to the final drive of the game. In the second half, the Bills' offense could not get it going. First half, they went punt, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Second half, they started out with 4 straight punts, a fumble, and then finally in the fourth quarter, were able to get it going with a touchdown and a game-winning field goal for the Bills. They are in the playoffs for the 4th straight season with that win over the Miami Dolphins. Also helps set them up here for the AFC East title, which is on the line. The Bills could clinch that with a win against the Chicago Bears next week.
The Bears win. Yes, that's right. It's on the table next week to clinch that. This game was great. The Bills got out to the quick lead score just before halftime with no time left on the clock on a play. A unicorn play by Josh Allen, 8 seconds on the clock, and everybody's going, oh, he held on. Oh, what are you doing? And yeah, good job. He scores a touchdown when it looked like he was going to rob the Bills of even a chance to get 3 points. He hits, I believe, was it Dawson Knox in the back of the end? No, it was James Cook in the back of the end zone right before halftime. Then the Dolphins score 16 unanswered coming out of halftime. The Dolphins were. They're a really well-coached team. I know Bills fans don't really know Mike McDaniel very much. From up here, he's the guy you don't want to talk to. I think you got to tip your hat to the way the Dolphins were coached and the game plan they came in here with and the adjustments they made. Coming out of halftime, the Dolphins controlled this game throughout most of the second half, and the Bills came back and got them. But Josh Allen had an enormous game tonight. Devin Singletary helped him close it out. The final drive by the Buffalo Bills, just as the snow started to fall in the lake effect snow, the one that the whole story was about it leading up to the game, they drove in that snow down to the final play, field goal by Tyler Bass to win it. And this was a really good football game, and the Bills come out on top.
When it started to snow, the Bills turned it up a notch and finished the game. It was a rematch against Miami Dolphins. We know how that Week 3 game ended up for the Bills. It was a tough loss. They meet the Dolphins again in Week 15 with cold temperatures. The snow starts to fall, and they finish off this game with a win. 32-29 is your final score. We're going to get right to the podium because some of our guys are already going. Let's send it over to Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer, who are big factors in this win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd like to be better. It's kind of been a point of emphasis all season long. But like you said, when we needed to make the stops, we did. Like I said, there's obviously some plays that we all wish we had back. But at the end of the day, we made the stops we had to. Offense did a hell of a job going down and T-Bass doing what he does. So it was a fun game.
Jordan, you're down 8. Josh takes him down to the thing. You guys get a stop. The snow starts flying. It's crazy. What was that experience like?
Almost like it was all supposed to happen, right? It was like, I mean, we didn't see much snow. We thought we were going to see a lot more snow than we did. But yeah, like you said, Josh goes down, takes the offense down, scores, and it starts just coming down. It was actually kind of surreal. It was fun atmosphere though.
So you got your hands on some balls, probably had like 3-4 pass breakups today. I know you almost had a pick there, which you're probably still shaking your head about, but is it good to be around the ball as much as you were tonight?
For sure. It's been a process. Still got work to do, but it was good to get a win today, but it's good getting around the ball and make some plays for the team. So anytime we can do that, it's a good day.
When you say it's a process, tell us how you feel and, relative to the knee and how you're coming along.
These things are, they're different. Everybody's different. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of support around me, a lot of great people, a lot of great trainers to, help me along the way, a lot of great teammates too. So I'm not where I want to be. Still a work in progress too. I continue to work and do rehab each and every day on top of the football stuff too. So once I got back into football, the rehab got kind of harder because I got to kind of lay back on it and kind of focus on football too. So it's been kind of hard to continue on the rehab and focus on ball too and be better in my craft. So like I said, got a lot of support around me. So it's okay.
Jordan, I know obviously it's one step to a larger goal, but what does clinching the playoff spot now with, still a few games left to go mean to you?
I mean, yeah, we're going to the postseason. I think this is the what is it, the 5th time out of 6, 5 out of 6. I mean, that's pretty damn awesome if you ask me, to be able to have a chance to play in the postseason. Job's not finished. Obviously, we want to continue to get better, especially defensively. We gotta do some things better on 3rd down. We gotta tackle better, myself included. A couple plays out there left out there, but we're gonna get better. We're gonna continue to get better. It's awesome to go and get a playoff berth. We got where are we playing next week? Chicago. We got a tough road game next week in Chicago, so we'll prepare and get ready for that.
Trey, being back, how much fun is it you and getting opportunities to get back out there and compete with the guys?
I mean, been out of football for a whole year, so I've been doing it my whole life. So it's been a process, like I said, and it's been a journey, man. It's still ongoing too. But like I said before, man, the support and the treatment that I've been getting for the last year has been next to none. And without the support and the training staff and the strength conditioning staff, man, I wouldn't be where I am now. So like I said, I'm gonna keep counting my blessings and keep praying to the good Lord that I can continue to go out there and put my best foot forward and continue to get better to get back to where I was before this happened.
I know you guys have a lot of respect for Taryn. I mean, this has been a rock for you guys. Seeing him come up with those 2 third down stops on a consecutive series, is that just like something you guys are used to seeing from him? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing that since he came to Buffalo. I mean, he's really established himself within this defense. He's really one of our key players on defense that really does everything. I think he plays probably the hardest position in our defense just because he's asked to do a lot. He's asked to cover. He's asked to tackle. He's asked to blitz. He's asked to fill the A-gap. And so having him play the way that he does, it's such a huge asset for us. And we're going to continue to need him down the stretch. And I'm glad he's on our team because I think he's the best nickel in the game.
You guys have played Miami down to the wire twice now, with their way up down there, your way up here. Rubber match in the cards, perhaps.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Trey, with the pass breakups tonight, how were you seeing on those plays, and do you think that's just kind of a testament to where you are at and coming back, or what was helping you?
I mean, you see our front 4, those guys get after the quarterback. So I think that it's a mixture of both rushing and coverage. You can't have tight coverage, you don't have a good rush. So our front 7 is next to none in the league. DQ, Shaq, I don't want to miss Ed, Greg, AJ, Boogie, Tremaine, Matt. Those guys get after the quarterback and make the quarterback make some ill-advised throws. So I was just fortunate enough to be around the ball.
Jordan, you mentioned 3rd down. Have you been able to pinpoint what is happening on 3rd and long situations?
Yeah, I think, I haven't really necessarily been able to pinpoint. I got to go back and look at the tape today. I think it just comes down to fundamentals, communication, just continue to work on our crafts. We are a good defense, and that has been a point of emphasis, being able to, especially 3rd and longs, being able to get off the field. And we will. Yeah, we got the right guys in the locker room, the right coaches and we're going to come, like I said, turn the page on this tomorrow, and we'll get ready to play Chicago and be better next week.
Trey, what are your thoughts out there with playing with Kyrie?
I mean, Kyrie's. I've met him, before we even drafted him. I had his number before, so I was always a fan of him. And then my DB coach from college went to Florida, and he was trying to get me to kind of persuade him to stay. But when I went back and watched his film, I called my coach back. I was like, Coach, there's nothing that I can say to this guy. Like, he's gone. So, but just to have him out there, just to have him moving around and making big time plays like he did, man, it's something that we've been looking forward to. And he's been working, continues to working while he was waiting, and his hard work is starting to pay off. So he's getting some confidence, and he's starting to play with some swagger. So whenever you can do that as a defensive back, it's always going to be good.
Okay.
Environment out there. Go ahead.
I was going to say the Gators lost to the Beavers today, just in case you guys were wondering. So go Beavs. I had to throw that out there.
How about the environment out there tonight? Fans showed up, a lot of snow in the stands, snow being thrown onto the field. You ever seen anything like that, and what was it like from a player's perspective?
I've never heard the announcer say, "Please listen to Josh Allen. Stop throwing snowballs on the field." That was crazy. That was the first time I've ever heard that. I mean, and then I couldn't tell if, like, how would they know if a Miami fan was throwing snowballs out there and then they're going to give us the penalty. I didn't know how they were going to how they're going to monitor that. I mean, it's an electric night, man. Fans are excited. The snow's on the ground. I did get hit in the back with a snowball. It was all crazy, but I mean, what are you gonna do? They're out there having fun. We're trying to put on a show. It was electric, especially once the snow started coming down, and then obviously T-Bass going in for the game winner. It was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Josh Allen's coming in.
All right, during this game, it looked like the defense, they helped bail out the offense time and time again in the second half of this game. The defense would be on the field for 3 plays, 5 plays, hand the ball right back to the offense so they could get more chances to drive the ball down the field, get into the end zone, and score a touchdown and score a field goal to end the game. And at points throughout this game, we really saw the offense get back into a rhythm that I feel like we haven't seen much of in the second half of the season. Josh Allen was wheeling and dealing. He was throwing dimes. It was in the 20s outside. It is not easy to throw a football and have some big plays on offense when it is this cold. The ball is slicker. The ball's probably not coming out of Josh Allen's hands as fast as it usually does, but they were able to make plays in the first half of this game to get on the scoreboard early. I know that first drive of the game was a punt, but then they go 3 straight touchdowns into halftime. Weren't able to double dip, though. I wish they were able to do that first drive coming out of halftime. They weren't able to score. Kind of fell asleep there in the third quarter, but were able to turn it on in the fourth quarter when it really mattered. And that's what we need to see out of this team, out of this offense, as we get into December and January football here with the playoffs knocking on the door. Yeah,
the Bills really played a good first half. They did do a 3-and-out right out of the gate, but then they came back and scored right with no time left on the clock. Josh, making that play right at the end of halftime was absolutely enormous. The 3rd and 17 play to Gabe Davis deep over the middle to get that game started. There's like one guy on the planet that can make that throw, and he's the guy who made it. That was an absolute unbelievable throw on a 3rd and 17 for, I think, 21 yards, or 3rd and 15 for 18 yards. I got it by a couple, 3 yards. That throw was absolutely unbelievable, perfectly timed, and executed at a level that you just don't see. That ball was a rope, and it was in the air for a long time. And so that kind of got Josh into it. The Bills, they really did. This offense really clicked in the first half. And a lot of people, the press box and some of the people we're hanging out with, this is the offense we thought we had.
Yes,
and it's the way it was before Josh's elbow injury. And man, oh man, he looks like he's feeling a little better, and tonight, not only with his arm but also with his legs. To go into halftime after the first half, the Bills go 12 plays, 80+ yards to go into halftime. They finish the game 15 plays, 86 yards, almost 6 minutes off the clock. This is the type of team that you want to see right now in really big games, and they did that tonight. All right, Josh Allen is on the podium answering some questions from his big day as the Bills quarterback.
What do you think was clicking in the red zone tonight? You guys scored for 4 until you just kicked it at the end. That's the only reason you didn't go perfect.
Yeah, again, I think attention to detail in practice, understanding our concepts, and then guys making plays. We put in some new stuff this week and trusted the guys to go out there and make some plays, and they did.
I don't know if it was causation or correlation. The snow started coming down. You guys flipped the switch. Is that something that you juiced up, or is it just coincidence?
No, just a coincidence. Kind of hit a lull there in the third quarter. Credit to them. That's a really good football team, and who knows if we'll see them again. I'm pretty positive we will. So again, yeah, that third quarter is not where we want to be, but again, that fourth quarter, guys made plays, stepped up, found a way to win. I thought our defense played a heck of a game in that second half, especially, and then there T-Bass at the end. He's nails.
What did you see in that last drive? It seemed like Miami was playing a wide line, and I started running the edges a little bit during that line.
Yeah. Again, I thought Coach Dorsey called a heck of a game, being patient. Trusting his guys on the field, trusting me, to make the right decisions. So yeah, he found some good plays that we kept going back to, and our offensive line kept executing. Our running backs ran the ball hard, and just found a way.
Josh, a lot has been made of Dawson's role with this offense. Some weeks statistically it's maybe not as big as others, but tonight you were looking his way a lot. What did you like about the matchup with him tonight?
Yeah, I thought Dawson played really big tonight. Used his size very well. Again, catch and run, nice. Love that. That's a good ringtone. Yeah, man, he played a heck of a game tonight. I love throwing it to him. I felt like I missed him a couple times, kept the ball behind him. So some things to clean up, but he, again, stepped up when we needed him most.
So at what point were you sure you got the 2-point conversion?
Right when it happened. I thought I was in. I stood there with my hands up, but it's a game of inches, and I'm just thankful we got it over.
Is there something about this opponent, Josh? I mean, obviously it's a division game, and you guys get up for those, but throughout your career, you have played Miami really, really tough.
These are just the division games. We know them; they know us. I couldn't tell you why, but we want to go out there and be perfect every time we touch the ball, and every drive we want to end in a touchdown. And we're just trying to go out there and execute at a high level, and we seem to do it against these guys again. But they beat us earlier in the year. It's a really good football team. We just played. They took them down to the wire, took a last-second field goal to win. I thought our defense, stepped up big in that second half. But again, it takes everybody.
Hey, Josh, obviously you want more steps after this, but can you appreciate clinching the playoffs with the things that you guys have overcome this year a little bit?
Absolutely. That's the number one thing Coach McDermott preaches is playoff caliber. Can't win the Super Bowl unless you make the playoffs. So that's goal number one down. Goal number two now is to clinch the division. And then, again, that's how we'll take it. We'll take it one game at a time and be ready for next week.
Can you take us through just what happened the last play before halftime? No. That crazy rollout to James Cook?
It's either a really good play or a really stupid play. I'm just thankful he came back to the ball and made a play on it. I threw it, and in my head, I'm just like, I know I wasted too much time. I know there's 0 seconds on the clock, and I just kind of slid on the ground, and I just, laid there and waited for cheers. And, thank God cheers came, because got to have points before the half. Shouldn't have put myself in that situation, but again, found a way to make a play.
Can you discuss the loss of Mitch Morse tonight? Obviously a big loss. You've been without him before this season. What does he mean to the offense, and without him, how big of a loss is that?
Yeah, I mean, he's the heartbeat of our own line. He makes all the calls. He knows the game plan inside and out. We love the guy. I'm hoping he's okay. And GVR was already, playing for Bates, who was out. So he kicks over to center. Quez comes in at right guard, and they didn't miss a beat. They played extremely well. I'm proud of our guys for stepping up. And again, that's just kind of been the season this year. Guys going down, guys stepping up, and again, just continuing to find ways to win football games.
How about people throwing snow onto the field tonight, the environment? What was it like from a player's perspective?
Yeah, a little wild. Don't necessarily condone the snowball throwing, especially if it could cost our team. Love that the fans are having fun, though. And again, we won the game, so not too mad about it now.
Josh, the run on the final drive, did you just see something there where you knew you'd have an alley, or what kind of unfolded there?
Yeah, he called a quarterback draw there, and just trusted the angle that I was running on and found a way to scoot by. That's really all it was. Just felt like Forrest Gump.
How much playing in this weather and these elements take you back to your days in Wyoming?
A lot. It reminded me a little bit of a CSU game, my second time playing them. Nasty weather there in that second half, running the ball there late to win. I think we might have won on a field goal, or I think Kellen Overstreet actually punched it in there late to give us the lead. But very similar elements. Just can barely see. You got snowballs pelting you in the eyes, and everybody wears beanies, but I think a hat is almost better in this weather. Keeps your eyes protected a little bit, so that's something we have to learn to adjust.
Josh, on that long run, on the game time drive, what did you see from your perspective?
On which one?
The long run, the 44-yarder.
Oh, yeah, again, just called a quarterback draw. Our line got to the right spot and, again, just started running. That's really all it was, and picked an angle, trusted it, and worked out.
Josh, Jordan had said that you guys maybe expected to see more snow or have the band arrive earlier or whatever. Is that with all that's going on within the game, are they updating you guys at all on, it looks like fourth quarter it's going to be here and we might have to adjust some things?
No, really, as soon as the game hits, we're expecting snow. We'll adjust to no snow, and then, when the snow came, we were prepared for it. But, I thought it would have snowed earlier, just given all the reports that we gotten throughout the week, especially like earlier today. But yeah, it is what it is. We focus on what we can.
Josh, you had Quentin, Naheem, and James all had their first touchdown catches tonight. How big is that to be able to spread the ball around that much?
That's huge. When you get other guys involved in the game plan, sharing the wealth, that's what makes an offense scary and dangerous when, at any point, any of these guys can catch the ball and make a play. And, again, I thought guys stepped up. Obviously, those aren't starters, guys making plays when the opportunity is called and taking advantage of those opportunities. So really appreciate those guys for working as hard as they do and understanding their game plan and then going out there and executing. Thank you, guys.
We love seeing a bunch of different guys catch touchdown passes from Josh Allen and get into the end zone. The more multiple this offense can be, the better off it is. It's time for this week's Player Spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. And tonight we're giving kudos to Tre'Davious White and what he was able to do in this game. He was a force. He had a couple of nice pass breakups. He looked like himself in this game, and this is the first time that we've seen that since he's been back from this injury.
Yeah, second game in a row where he played every snap defensively, and he looked really good. He had 3 pass breakups in the first half, so the Dolphins were going at him, and as you might expect, the Dolphins have some confidence no matter who's out there to go ahead and throw it.
Almost had an interception.
Even if it's Tre'Davious White on defense, and Trey was up to it, and he said it in his post game. We heard him. It was a year since he'd been out on the field, and he missed it. It was something that he's done his entire life, and he didn't get a chance to do it. So he's got to be feeling better and better about his abilities and about what it feels like to be out there, more confident in coming back off the knee injury. And certainly tonight, no question, was the game of all the games he's played so far, which has only been a handful. He showed up.
Yeah.
He showed up big time.
He showed up.
In that first half, it was big.
You could tell it was film study, too, with the way that he was able to read some of the routes that the Miami players were running. And I think as we see him progress and get better and get healthier and get more comfortable, it's just going to elevate. His play is going to elevate what we know he's capable of. We're going to see that even more, I think, going forward. We saw it a little bit tonight, and I'm excited for what's to come with Trey White. Dawson Knox had 6 catches for 98 receiving yards and an epic touchdown tonight. It was good to see him be the focal point of this offense in a lot of ways, because when the ball was thrown his way, he made some epic catches alongside guys like Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis as well. Dawson Knox was answering some questions at the podium just a couple minutes ago, so we're going to get to him.
Yeah, just another great play call by Dorse. Great job up front, giving Josh time to read it out. It was an out-breaking route, so we had Gabe, I think it was Gabe, like on a corner to kind of take all the attention away. And it left me one-on-one. I'm not sure if he was a corner or safety, but I knew it was man-to-man coverage, release inside to try to make him think I had an inside breaking route. Gave him a little something at the top and broke out, and Josh put on the money.
Red zone conversions today. You guys would have been perfect if you didn't kick that last one at the end. Josh mentioned you guys put some new stuff in. How'd you guys take to that new stuff and kind of make it look good?
Yeah, it just comes down to execution across the board. Huge shout out to the O-line up front with an injury, guys stepping in. That's kind of been the case all year with injuries. Guys have been put in different positions. I can't even imagine how hard that is from a lineman standpoint to be used to one position then having to change. So they battled their tails off and did their job, but it just comes down to execution. Great play calling by Dorse, and had a lot of opportunities this week to practice those new plays. So when it got called in the game, we were ready for it.
How much confidence does it give you to know that you were going to be, the primary in this game. I mean, you had that one-on-one matchup. You were isolated for the majority of the whole game, and Josh just kept connecting with you. So how much confidence did it give you?
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, we never really know how many targets we're going to get. There's game weeks where I think I might have 6 or 7 targets and never get the ball. And then there's games that I'm not really expecting a whole lot and have a big game. So it comes down to doing your 1/11th, whatever the play call is. Thankfully, we were able to exploit some of that man-to-man coverage. When you got Diggs and Gabe running around down the field, they're drawing attention from everyone, so it leaves me one-on-one. So when you got great receivers around you, it can put you on an island, so it gives me a little bit of extra wiggle room when I get those one-on-one matchups.
Johnson, we've seen a lot of versions of Josh Allen doing his thing tonight with the run, with the two-point conversion, the snow falling, the whole thing. Where's this one ranked for?
I don't even know. That's a hard question. I mean, he makes plays that I've never seen before. Sometimes you kind of turn into a fan while you're watching him. Unfortunately, I was under a 300-pound 3 technique on that play that he reached the ball over on the 2-point, so I didn't see it until we saw the Jumbotron. But I've kind of talked about it before. It's not even surprising at this point. You're just like, oh, there's Josh being Josh again. He's the best quarterback in the league, the best football player in the league. So anytime you got him on your team, you got a chance to win.
Did you say anything to him about the risk he took at the end of the half there, stretching the play out when you had a field goal?
That's one of those where it's like, when he's making plays like that, no one says anything. Just tap him on the butt. Good job, Josh. Good job being yourself. There's nothing to really be said when he's making plays like that.
How about the long one you caught early? That was against zone, right? You kind of put it like up and out this way.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a zone. It was a zone coverage. So, again, we had one of our star receivers going deep, taking the top off, and that left a nice little zone. It was wide open right there in the middle. Again, Josh put it on the money, gave me some space to run with it a little bit.
I'm sorry.
They're good.
You guys have had some stretches where you had a lull on offense. What are you guys doing on the sideline to kind of hone back in, knowing you got to put it together before the game's out? Like, I'm just curious what the crosstalk's like when you know you hit that low and you got to pull yourself out.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the sport. There's never going to be a perfect game. You're going to have ups and downs in every game. There's going to be those lulls. So the best teams find ways to push through that, and they find ways to win, whether it's by 1 or 100. So I think that's just across the board execution. Just taking each play with a next play mentality. You can't have you got to have a short-term memory in this game. You can't be thinking about what you did wrong the play before. I had a drop over the middle that I was pissed off about, but it's just one of those things you got to wipe off and play the next one. So if you let one play beat you twice, that's when you really start going downhill.
Also, you talked throughout the season, especially at tight end, that balance of doing whatever the team needs, but being competitive and wanting to make those big plays. So what did tonight feel like just be back in the mix, 98-yard touchdown to bring, have a game where it's not just being as excited about the
Anytime I can be directly involved in the offense like this, it's very exciting. It's very fun. I've always had the mindset that the best tight ends in the league are to be happy blocking and happy catching. So whether it's blocking 100 plays out there to get the team to win or catching 10 balls, going for 100 yards with touchdowns, just comes down to doing whatever's necessary to win. And big shout out to Q Morris on that big touchdown. We're super excited for him to get in the end zone as well. So I think it just, whatever the play call is, whatever the game plan is for the week, we got to go execute it.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks.
I think another important factor in tonight's game, and one that I was looking toward ahead of this matchup, was the red zone efficiency of the Bills. They've been killing it, literally, in the red zone the last 3 games. They continued to do so tonight. The first time these two teams played each other in Week 3, the Bills were 2 of 4 in the red zone. Not what you want to see. Tonight, they were 4 of 5 in the red zone. They scored on 80% of their red zone trips. The Dolphins, on the other hand, 1 for 3. That's the game right there.
And that's how the Dolphins have really gotten to the point where they were in the hunt again. They're a big play offense.
Yes.
With Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and Wilson, they can really snap off some big plays. Mostert tonight was also a factor in the big plays. The Dolphins score from way out, and they do it with regularity. That's why they're such a fun team to watch, and that's why they're so dangerous to defend. They've got guys that can go the distance, and that, in fact, that kind of seems to be the way they operate. The Bills kind of grind it out sometimes, and particularly with Josh, and in the second half of these games where we've seen it against the Green Bay Packers, against Baltimore, against some of these teams, the Jets, the first game, where the Bills get down there and they kind of push it down. They don't really strike from deep. They haven't had really the big play capabilities they showed a year ago with Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. So the Bills have to be efficient in the red zone because they chug to get down there. Even tonight, they had the big plays, but they never scored on them. They got down close. Josh Allen's long run, all the big plays some of the big plays they had on offense. Dawson Knox getting loose down the sideline. So it fits the way you see these statistics, particularly the red zone that you mentioned. It fits the way these two teams played. The Dolphins only got to the red zone 3 times. The Bills got there 5 times and were 3 of 3 in the first half.
Yeah, it's definitely what you want to see out of the Buffalo Bills when you're getting those big plays, but you're also punching it in the red zone. That's really important for this team. We've got one more person on the podium tonight before we close things up here, and it's our head coach, Sean McDermott.
All right, glory to God, man. Another Bills win. Great atmosphere, great environment tonight in Orchard Park. A little bit of snow in the fourth quarter to add to it, which was just in typical Buffalo signature right there. So thought it was a great drive to go win it. Well executed. T-Bass coming in to finish it off. T-Bass and Sam and Reed. I don't want to forget those two guys either. They do a great job for us, the protection, and then I thought the defense found a way in the second half. They were having success running the ball really throughout the game, and defense made some key stops, in particular one after the turnover. Just instead of giving up touchdowns, forcing some field goals down there, which was important for us. And then, like I said, the offense going on a drive right there to go win it. So some really good moments, really tough football team in a tough situation. Found a way to get it done, and with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Coach, you got some great balances at 6 minutes to run, 6 minutes off the clock, and a nice game. Just run us back to that 6 minutes.
Yeah, I thought Coach Dorsey did a really good job of, throwing some runs in there. Motor, the offensive line, James hit one, I believe. It was good to watch those guys kind of get into a good rhythm off, with some throws, with some passes, different types of passes, different types of runs, good communication with the coaches on the headset during that drive, in particular with Coach Cromer and Ken and Josh. So just coming over the sideline and making sure we were in full control of the situation. And in a lot of ways, it reminded me, obviously, down the end there of the Ravens game. That's a little bit what we were talking about there. So good execution.
What do you want to say about Josh's playmaking, the leap for the two-point conversion, the 44-yard run, the end of the first half?
Yeah, end of the first half was big.
Good coaching.
Yeah, run it down to 0 on the clock and throw a touchdown. Right? He's lucky he made it out. He's lucky he threw a touchdown pass right there, or else he and I were going to have a little. I would have probably flattened his tires maybe after the after the game. But he'll learn from that one, and maybe I'll learn a little bit from it too. So.
He said that he just kind of slid after he threw that ball, and he was just waiting to hoping to hear cheers. I mean,
he's darn lucky he was hearing some cheers.
Sean, what's it mean to you, 5th playoff appearance now in your 6 seasons as a head coach?
Yeah, Vic, appreciate that. Very humbling. Just coming here, moving my family here years ago. Terry and Kim giving me and my family an opportunity to do this for the first time, and really just a product of great people, really great people around our organization. I'm one piece of it, really, and very humbling. Like I said before, glory to God for his blessings, and just happy to be a small part of it.
Sean, I know you, oh, go ahead.
Kind of going off of that, Sean, just, we saw on the broadcast, your emotion once the game was over.
Yeah.
Just kind of walk me through, well, what's going through your mind in that moment and just everything that comes along with it.
Yeah, every coach, all the scouting guys, we work so hard, right, to try and win one game every week, and you put a lot of time in. The families have to sacrifice. You miss a lot of your kids, events and things that go on, and that's hard. It makes it all that much more worthwhile when you can get a win and you can get back to the playoffs at home, and you go through a game like this. That's a tough football team. They're a good football team, and it took everything we had to pull this one out tonight, and so it just makes it special, right? When you can do that, and like I said, humbling. Really, that's really how I feel about it, Heather. It's just humbled to be a part of it in this great town that doesn't get as much credit as it deserves, honestly, and the fans. This place is unique. So just awesome.
Sean, I know you take them individually, but the result of this game has huge implications. The difference between fighting still the playoffs and the division. So you clinch the playoffs, you're close to the division and all. Did you sense the enormity of the comeback and the win, and did it feel like a playoff game almost to you tonight?
Yeah, it did. The environment was like that, and Kyle Williams, when he was here, I think in either my first year or my second year, which was Kyle's last year, he had talked about this. He told the team a story about how he had dreamed about playing in the playoffs when he was, and I'm not going to do it justice, but he walking across from the players' parking lot to the stadium, and you could hear the grounding of salt right underneath his boots, and I think that really has stuck with me, and just now that we've been able to do it in terms of making the playoffs and do it multiple times. Listen, I'm happy for those guys too. All the guys that have come before us, coaches included, and the players, because I know how much this means to them as well. So.
Quentin Morris' smile in the locker room couldn't have been any bigger. He actually said that he kind of blacked out at the end of the touchdown. What can you say about a guy like that? I'm sure a guy like that who's a practice squad guy, works his way up, gets his first touchdown in a game like this. What can you say about him?
Yeah. You never count a guy out, right? You watch him last season. He spent most of the year, if not all the season, on practice squad, and that can get long. You can kind of question yourself a little bit. Hey, what am I doing? Is there a vision for me here on this team? Am I good enough? And that's all that's how normal life is, right? The ups and downs, and sometimes you're either going into a storm and coming out of a storm in life, and just to see him work his butt off, persevere, and you never know when your number is going to be called, and his number was called, and he made a big time play for us right there. So it's a great lesson for all of our young players.
Coach, talk about Kyer Elam. What's your impression on Kyer today?
Yeah, I thought he looked like he was making some plays. He was into the game, fun to watch. Another guy that's had to wait his turn a little bit, and he's been working, and he almost picked that one ball off. I think it was a second down or third down play. Third down, I believe, third and medium. So it was great to see him make some plays out there.
You mentioned the atmosphere and all of that. It was Jordan and Josh, I think, said that you guys maybe expected the snow earlier. No one really knows what a lake effect band like that is going to do. But when it started, it seemed like there was a switch that got flipped or something.
When the snow started?
Responded to it. Did you sense that on the sideline?
It's just like I said. It's typical Buffalo weather, right? This time of year, and I remember our first year here. We were driving to the organization's Christmas party, and I was on 219, and it was a whiteout, and I'm like, I got on and got off right away, the exit, and I'm like, we can't go on, and my wife's like, we got to keep going, And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can't see. And you drive 5 more miles and it's clear, right? So kind of like tonight, like it's clear, beautiful December evening, and then all of a sudden here comes a snowstorm or a squall or whatever you call that. So obviously the fans were enjoying it, and it was just typical for a Buffalo December night, I guess.
Sean, you can laugh about it now, much like Josh's play with no time left on the clock, but are you thinking at any point how close you're coming to a 15-yard penalty after the officials are like, please stop throwing snow on the field? And these fans they kept going.
Yeah, that's hard, right? Because we have such a passionate fan base, and I don't want them to get a bad rap. They're so passionate. It's kind of out of our control, right? And I know Josh was kind of motioning to the fans, hey, knock it off, and I was trying to do my best as well. Challenge is you got fans they had a couple Dolphins fans in the crowd too, so I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it looked like no one got hurt, and the fans did a good job when we needed them to stop. They were good team players.
You think it's
feel like you're going to have to channel your inner Sam Weish?
Yeah, I grew up watching that. Right, get on the referee's mic, and I'm not sure that would have gone over so well. I think with these fans, I think they would have just that would have inspired them.
What did you think of the challenge of just stopping there? They used a lot of 2 backs and 2 tight ends, trying to keep a lid on their running game, while at the same time not give up 67-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, that's when they've got 10 and 17. I mean, they're top receivers with great speed, and I thought our defense again made the stops they had to make, but we got to go back and look at it and just look at our more so than anything our fundamentals and our techniques and making sure we're executing those and doing our 111th. So I thought at halftime, Coach did a good job, Coach Frazier and the coaches of just, hey, let's basically go back to training camp and just settle down and do your job. So we'll have to look at the film overall and assess, how we can improve that though too.
Singletary going down, not scoring a touchdown, getting in field goal. Was that planned? You wanted him to not score?
Yeah, great situational awareness by Motor. We had talked about it. We call it no mas, which means no more. And similar to, like I said, the Baltimore game, you're expecting them to potentially allow you to score right there, just based on where the game was, where we had the ball, and in their timeout situation.
Sean, with all the receivers that got involved, the targets, whether it be running backs, tight ends, whatever, some people who aren't used to contributing as big as they did in Ohio, his first receiving touchdown. But is that by design, or is that part of the game plan versus just how it kind of unfolded today?
A little bit of both. I mean, we're just, again, trying to use all the players that we have, and then and you could script it like that sometimes, but it doesn't always come out like that, right? It ends up in a little bit of a bottleneck sometimes, and even though you have it set up to unfold a different way like it did tonight, where you had more of a everything in moderation, it seemed like. So I just think it's us growing as an offense and just a little bit of happenstance there too, perhaps. All right, thanks, guys.
5 playoff appearances in 6 seasons for this coaching staff, for the scouting department, Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, Terry, and Kim Pagula. They have done a hell of a job since they came to Buffalo. Scouting guys to come here through drafts, through free agencies, through coaching guys up to become the players they have become here, through winning really tough games like they did tonight. What a job.
The Bills are as well run of an organization as there is in pro sports right now. And it didn't take that long after the Pagulas took over to get there. A little bit of a learning curve, Rex Ryan sweeps them off their feet, but I'll say this, when they realized that other coaches weren't the answer, they cut bait and found the guy that was, and a general manager that was, and they have supported him. That's the thing as well. They didn't just hire the guy and say, good luck. They upgraded the facilities here for the players, they staffed it, and they are reaping huge rewards. The drafting that they've done, the moves they made in the offseason, free agency, and I'll say this, Sean McDermott making Buffalo and this organization and this facility, this campus that they've got here into a premier free agent landing spot. There are people who say that's impossible. And you go out and sign Von Miller. You've got guys like, Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson begging to come back. Cole Beasley saying it's the best play coming out of retirement, saying it's the best locker room he's ever been a part of, wanted to come back. You got to tip your hat to the whole organization. And nights like tonight, you know, it kind of comes to fruition. It kind of come full circle when it's, you know, the five out of 6 years with this coaching staff and this front office going to the playoffs. Yeah, this organization is clicking on a lot of cylinders. Doesn't mean they're going to win the whole thing this year. Doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't blow up tomorrow, because we don't know. But man, oh man, to get to this point, a lot of people inside the building from the very top to the very bottom are doing all the right things.
Yeah, it's special to be a part of. We're lucky to be a part of this Buffalo Bills era and get to witness so many highlights that this team has had over the last 5 to 6 seasons. Next up for the Bills, a Christmas Eve game against the Chicago Bears, and they could get the best Christmas gift of all. If they beat the Bears, they clinch the AFC East.
Let's go!
Let's do it. It was cold tonight. It was snowy tonight. Let me tell you, it's going to be in the single digits in Chicago
You're
on
from
Saturday.
Chicago. I went to school in Chicago. You could live your whole life in Buffalo, go to Chicago, and freeze.
Cold.
It's really cold in Chicago. It's like dangerous cold in Chicago. It's not just snowy and wintry. It's cold.
I would guess wind chill temps are going to be in the negatives, because the day before it's supposed to be negative 10 degrees without a wind chill in Chicago. So get ready. They're going to have to bundle up. Fans, if you're traveling, I hope you are. You know how to bundle up. You just did it tonight in an epic game. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Make sure you tune in to MSG. We're going to have a longer version of this show airing throughout the week. More players, more highlights, and more breakdown of this game. Also, One Bills Live, 12 to 3 on Monday afternoon. You guys get to watch stress-free football tomorrow. Amazing. Enjoy your Sunday. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you next time.